Now let's cut and fix the architrave. Because of the knuckle of the hinge, we have to set them away from the edge of the door liner. Mark which way your mitre is going to go. That's for the knuckle. Again for the knuckle. Cut your first piece to length with your Studhawk 90. Now let's look at those marks we put, which are ledger lines for where the mitres are going to start and finish. We'll transfer that mark to our timber and a rough mark for the direction of our mitre cut. Now back to the bench and we cut our mitre using our Studhawk 45. When you get to the end of the architrave, make sure you slow down the cut so that you don't get a big tear out splinter. Slowing down. Now we need to cut the adjacent mitre. We do this by turning the timber over and cutting the mitre on the reverse. As you can see, when we've cut it, I'll twist the timber and the tool. That forms your adjacent mitre. That way. So when we go to the right hand mitre, the tool's used normally off of the square edge, top edge, and we cut the opposite side. Yep. So back to the bench, and we're going to turn the timber over to cut the left hand side first. We'll need a bit of wood to grab onto and for the tool to sit on, so we cut this left side first on the reverse side. As you can see, turn it over and the mitre's the correct way. Just to recap, here's your guide. That's how we achieved the cut on the left. Turn it over and up to the other side to achieve the opposite mitre. Nice and simple with the Studhawk 45. So now mark your architrave to length for the head and a rough directional mark for the direction of your mitre so that you don't get confused. Now we can cut the final mitre for the head. Sand off any splinters or burrs. Put a temporary screw in the door. It'll help you opening and closing the door and save your fingernails. Here's our gap for the carpet. I'm going to let the plywood represent the underlay and a carpet sample from an old carpet book. We'll just test that. There you go, perfect gap for carpet. To fix the architraves we'll need a line of panel pins here. This is to fix into the door frame. At the edge of the architrave we're going to use a 2" 10 screw, and that's got to go all the way through the plasterboard and in to the studwork, which you can see at the top here, like so. Let's space our screws evenly so that the architraves pull up nice and tight and neat. So I think this length of piece we're going to have 4 screws. Even, even, even. We'll drill and pilot these on the bench. We don't want to have to be drilling in situ. It's much easier to do this on the bench before you fix it. To save the bench, use a scrap piece of wood underneath. You don't want to spoil nice furniture. Start the nails on the bench. Tap them into the wood. You'll need to do this because you'll need an extra hand for fixing. Never nail into a knot, the knot just explodes. Pick nice straight grain, put your oval wire through. Now at the bottom of the architrave we're going to need the carpet to go under this. It'd be a nightmare to cut round the shape of that architrave, wouldn't it? So we'll put our architrave in, put a mark where we want our mitre to start and cut this off the bottom. Again we'll use our Studhawk 90 for this cut. Nice, smooth, gentle, easy action, like rubbing the palms of your hands together. The square hook is designed with mouldings in mind, and as you'll see it projects 18mm so that we can reach the far end of any tapering mould or form. Mark the sides of the door frame on the head with an even space to the mitre on each side. Then you know you'll be centering it nicely. And align these marks which correspond with the side of the door liner. Hold the head firmly in position and fix the first 2 nails, one at either end, then the middle. All mitres should be glued, so we put some PVA on this. Hold the upright firmly in position, align the mitre, squeeze together tightly. You should see a little squidge of glue come out when it's nice and tight. Put your first top nail in, then drive the rest of the nails home. Now with 2-inch panel pins and not oval wires, we fix down through the head of the architrave to the upright. This will stop the mitres drifting and opening up. It'll tighten the glue joint really nicely. Same the other side. Now as you'll see on this side, our mitre's drifting and bulging out slightly, but if we pinch them together and hold the faces flat, then put the panel pin in, we'll cure that problem. Punch the nails home, ready for filler. Now we need to fix the outside of the architrave through to the stud work. Again, it's a 2-inch 10. Straight through the pilot hole into the stud work behind. Nice and firm. Again, using the Studhawk 90, cut the doorstop uprights to length first, then the head last. The head will always hold the uprights apart like so. Now we have to fit the door stops. We ensure that the door aligns with the door frame on the outside. On the inside, we're going to fix our stops with screws, and we're going to leave a 2mm gap for painting all around. Let's fix our first 2 screws. Now we've got our first 2 screws fixed. We fix the remaining length and watch the gap is the same all the way down the door. Repeat this process on the hinge side, ensuring that the door stops are tight up against the packer. If they're not tight up, push them tight up. Now fix the remaining screws. The amazing new Studhawk Saw Guide set. There are 2 Studhawks in the pack. The Studhawk 90 makes cutting square simple, and those difficult mitres, the Studhawk 45 makes them a piece of cake. The Studhawk helps keep your fingers safe and save time squaring a line. Get your Studhawk Saw Guide set today.